You know that feeling when you walk into a space and instantly, invisibly, the energy tilts toward you, before you've even said a word, before anyone even fully registers your presence. That, my sisters, is the invisible power every woman must master, the subtle, magnetic authority that makes a man, a room, or even the world itself recognize you before you have to claim it. And here's the secret. It isn't about control in the traditional sense. It isn't about manipulation, or forcing reactions, or playing games that leave you drained. It's about cultivating a mindset so powerful, so untouchable, that influence happens naturally, effortlessly, because your energy communicates dominance before your voice ever does. I remember a time at a private art exhibition, chandeliers casting soft light across polished floors, and I noticed a man who considered himself assertive, composed, someone confident in his world. And yet, as I positioned myself calmly near a sculpture, observing, listening, breathing with the rhythm of the room, he found himself leaning ever so slightly, his attention unconsciously following mine. I didn't speak to him. I didn't glance back deliberately. I simply existed in a state of composed awareness, letting my energy broadcast subtle authority. And the truth is, this isn't a trick. It isn't a fleeting moment, it's science, psychology, and centuries of feminine wisdom distilled into presence, into posture, into the mastery of micro behaviors, the way you carry yourself, the measured pauses in conversation, the deliberate choice of when to smile or when to withhold attention. All of these are signals that communicate I am untouchable. I am sovereign. I am in control of my own energy. And they ignite curiosity, fascination, and yes, even subtle obsession. And here's a tip that I've taught countless women. Observe, anchor your energy, and make silence your ally. Let them wonder. Let them adjust. Let their subconscious respond to the mastery they cannot name. Comment below your first observation of a moment when your presence altered someone's behavior. These are lessons waiting for mastery. And awareness is always the first step toward power. Subscribe. Turn on notifications. Because the journey we are stepping into is one where your own energy becomes the invisible force that commands attention. Naturally, beautifully, irresistibly. Now let's explore the mechanics of this unshakable mindset. Because mastering the untouchable woman isn't a list of rules, it's a lifestyle, a philosophy, a practice of self-possession that transforms interactions from ordinary to magnetic. Men, colleagues, acquaintances respond first to energy, then to words, then to appearance. It's a hierarchy of subconscious processing, and the untouchable woman exploits this naturally, without force, without theatrics. I remember coaching a close friend who struggled to assert her presence in professional and personal spaces. Together, we focused on micro shifts, the alignment of her spine, the grounding of her feet, the pacing of her speech, the intentional stillness before responding to a question. Within weeks, she noticed subtle but profound changes. Colleagues mirrored her gestures unconsciously. Her words carried weight beyond their content. Men adjusted their tone and posture without realizing it, and the energy around her subtly bent to her calm, unwavering presence. This is what I call silent sovereignty, mastery of influence through self-possession rather than coercion, subtle dominance without aggression, curiosity sparked without demand. And as you practice this, pay attention to what philosophers and psychologists alike have hinted at for centuries. Power is never seized. It is recognized. Your energy, your calm awareness, your deliberate actions, and even your quiet pauses communicate this to everyone around you. And once recognized, it is irresistible. The next step is awareness. Observe your patterns, refine your gestures, practice pauses and deliberate glances, and notice how subtly the environment shifts in response. Comment below the first micro behavior you will consciously adjust. This is where theory transforms into real, tangible power. And yes, subscribe and turn on notifications, because mastery of your own energy is the ultimate life skill, and this channel will guide you to refine, amplify, and own it like never before. And now, my sisters, let's crystallize the ultimate truth. The untouchable woman, the one who cannot be controlled, is not defined by aggression, drama, or external validation. She is defined by awareness, by deliberate self-possession, by the refinement of energy that makes influence effortless. I have walked into boardrooms, cafes, private gatherings, and every time, I see it. Subtle adjustments, leaning in, mirroring, curiosity sparked, attention shifted, all without a word or a gesture beyond composed presence. This mastery is a dance subtle, invisible, but intensely felt. Men, women, colleagues, acquaintances respond instinctively to this quiet command, to this energy, because it is a language older than words, older than civilization itself, the language of presence, awareness, and sovereignty. So I want you to step into your next room, your next conversation, your next encounter with intentional energy. Notice the slight shifts in posture, the pauses, the gazes, the unspoken dialogue between your calm, magnetic self and the world. Own every micro gesture, refine every pause, cultivate every subtle signal, and watch as influence and fascination unfold naturally around you. Comment your biggest takeaway, the one micro behavior that will begin your transformation. Because once you feel the pull of your own untouchable energy, once you master your presence, you cannot go back. Subscribe, turn on notifications, immerse yourself in mastery, and remember this: the world does not control you. It does not define you. It reacts to you. Every gesture, every glance, every calm breath is your kingdom. Own it, command it, live it, and as you do, you will not just walk into rooms, you will shift them. Effortlessly, irresistibly, unshakably, because feminine power is not asked for. It is felt, and once mastered, it is eternal. And as you fully step into this energy, I want you to understand something few women ever truly grasp. Control is an illusion, influence is a practice, and sovereignty is a state of mind. The untouchable woman, the one who cannot be controlled, is not bending her reality to anyone else's expectations, is creating an environment in which her energy sets the tone. Her presence dictates the pace, and her awareness commands subtle, unspoken respect. I have witnessed it countless times walking into high-powered gatherings, private events, and even casual social settings, and noticing the small shifts in attention that occur the instant a woman steps into her own calm mastery. Heads tilt ever so slightly toward her, voices lower, gestures soften, curiosity sparks, and even the most self-assured men find themselves unconsciously following her rhythm, adjusting to her unspoken cadence, captivated without resistance, intrigued without realizing why. And this, my sisters, is the beautiful paradox. You do not have to act, manipulate, or overexert. You simply embody, observe, and refine. Your energy, your calm, your poised awareness does all the work, because it is a language everyone instinctively understands but cannot name. And I want you to pause for a moment and imagine this: a conversation where you speak only when necessary, where your gaze holds weight, where your slight gestures ripple through the room with influence, where pauses become your secret weapons, where laughter is measured but captivating, and every movement broadcasts quiet authority. This is mastery. This is the power that cannot be negotiated, bargained, or controlled. And as you cultivate this, as you refine these micro signals of awareness, you begin to notice patterns you never could before. The way people unconsciously mirror your posture, the subtle tension in their anticipation, the tiny adjustments they make without realizing they are being guided. Every interaction becomes a playground where your energy leads effortlessly, elegantly, unshakably. And I promise you, when you begin practicing these principles, the world will respond not because it has to, not because you demanded it, but because it cannot help itself. Presence is magnetic. Composure is intoxicating. Awareness is irresistible. And this is the art, the psychology, the philosophy of an untouchable woman, to communicate dominance, allure, and influence without force, without drama, without attention-seeking, yet in a way that everyone cannot help but notice. So I want you to write in the comments your first intentional shift, whether it is a pause, a gaze, a slight smile, or a posture adjustment, because awareness is mastery, and mastery is transformation. Subscribe, turn on notifications, because every subtle tweak you make from this moment forward compounds, layering your energy until it becomes an unshakable presence that captivates and commands without ever speaking a single word. And here's the next layer. This isn't just about influence in romantic spaces. Although the impact there is undeniable, it is about life itself. It is about negotiating at work with confidence that is felt before it is heard. It is about commanding attention in a room of strangers by the simple alignment of your posture and energy. It is about raising your voice only when it carries weight and letting silence speak volumes the rest of the time. I have coached women who felt invisible in boardrooms, who struggled to be heard in social gatherings, who felt like their presence could be dismissed. And within weeks, after practicing micro gestures, mindful pauses, the strategic placement of attention, and subtle but intentional body language, they noticed shifts that were almost magical. Colleagues mirroring their energy, conversations bending toward them, attention gravitating without effort, influence happening before a single request was made. And this, sisters, is no accident. This is a psychological truth, an energy law, and a mindset hack that is available to any woman willing to observe, internalize, and apply it deliberately. The difference between women who feel controlled by circumstances, by people, by energy, and those who cannot be controlled is not luck, it is awareness, practice, and the deliberate cultivation of presence that broadcasts calm, command, and sovereignty. Every small gesture, every micro-expression, every controlled pause compounds into a powerful language of authority that is felt before it is articulated. And here's the kicker. It is also intoxicating. It creates desire, curiosity, admiration, and respect without demanding a single ounce of performance or approval. This is the magic of mastering your own mind, your own energy, your own sovereignty. And as you leave this video, I want you to reflect. What small habit will you refine first? Which micro gesture will become your new secret weapon? Comment it below, because this is the beginning of a chain reaction. A cascade of influence that cannot be undone. Once awakened, subscribe and turn on notifications, because this is not a one-time trick, this is a lifelong skill. A mindset hack that once learned becomes a superpower that elevates everything you do, every interaction you have, and every space you occupy.